What is happening, guys? Mike here. Welcome back to the channel and to a new episode of Style Support. I know this is a segment that I've kind of neglected lately, but this year I made a pact to myself to stop doing review after review after review and actually put more attention into the cool segments I've started here on the channel, and I've got a lot of plans for this segment in particular that I hope to achieve and complete this year. So today we're kind of relaunching this segment, if you will, and I had a really cool idea that I would just ask you guys to submit your questions surrounding one specific brand. So today I'm going to do my best to help you guys out, answer some questions, and we're talking all about ByVilain. All right, so those of you who are new, this is Style Support, the segment where I try my best to help you with your questions, offer some tips, lend some support to you guys, and I decided again it would be cool to kind of focus our attention on one brand, and I think I'm going to do this with some other brands in some future videos as well. Maybe go off of Blue Mon, maybe do O'Dowd, Sheer Revival, Lockhart's, something. I'll let you guys choose some other brands that maybe we do this for in the future, but today we are talking all about ByVilain. I had you guys submit some questions that you had about ByVilain, their products, the slick hair shop, stuff like that, and I'm going to do my best to answer them. So we're going to go through all the questions and I'm going to see if I can't help you guys out a bit. It should be a pretty good time. So let's go ahead and get started with your questions. I got them saved all on my trusty iPad here, so let's get rolling with our first question. And our first question comes from Alex on Instagram. So let's get to your question, Alex.
Mike, how you doing? So my question is, when my hands are even just a little bit moist, dynamite clay can't really be spread out or emulsify properly and it just lumps up. So can't really use it well. Any remedy for that? Okay,
so thank you for your question. I had to think about this one for a little bit. I got some dynamite clay right here, and what I think is happening there is I think the dynamite clay is a water-soluble clay, so when you're introducing moisture in your hands to the product, I think it's just like mixing with it and causing it to perform that way because it's a water-soluble clay, meaning it's kind of almost washing off your hands, but your hands are not wet enough to fully wash it off your hands, so it's just introducing a little bit of moisture. And timeout. So I realized that after I filmed this and I was editing it, that I never actually told you whether or not I actually tried this or not. So this was something that I completely forgot to mention. I totally meant to, but so sorry, I forgot to mention whether I actually tried putting it in my hands and seeing if I got the same result. And the answer is no. I was not able to actually duplicate the results that you were talking about with clumps ended up being in my hand. Actually, I'll show you real quick what it looks like in my hand, even when I introduce water into the mix here in my hands. And I'm sorry to say I wasn't actually able to duplicate the results, but I still think that my answer of it just being wet in your hands is quite plausible. However, I am starting to question the formula. So I would take a look at the actual jar you got, make sure it's a legitimate jar. There are fakes sold out there, or if it's been more than a year, I would consider replacing the jar, to be honest with you. Those are the only other things that I can think of, but that's pretty much it, and I'll go ahead and send you back over to Past Mike now and time in. But you did ask if I could lend some tips on how to use this better, and all I can do is kind of tell you how I use dynamite clay, which is on clean blow-dried hair. What I do is I blow-dry it completely dry, and then I take 1 or 2 scoops layered in. I don't put it in all at the same time. I like to layer in small amounts. That's really all I do with the dynamite clay. It works really well for me in that capacity where I get it way into my roots. I just, try to get it worked all the way in, then I use my comb, either the wide tooth comb or my regular favorite ByVilain comb, and then I just style that way and I call it good. It usually works very well for me, and that's how I use it. That's really all that I do, and that's how I've had the best success with the dynamite clay. So I hope that helps you out a little bit. Thank you again for your question. Let's go ahead and move on to the next one here. And our second question here for the video comes from Chad on Instagram. Let's get this going.
My man Mike, what's up? My question is, how much does a haircut cost at the studio?
So I actually had to reach out to Slick Hair for this because I've never been there. They're in Denmark. I live in the United States in Nebraska, so I've never been there. I've never had my haircut there. I'd love to go try one day, but I never have. So I reached out to Leo from Slick Hair, and what he told me was that a men's cut costs $70 US and a women's cut costs $150 US, which kind of like blew my mind a little bit. It was nuts because, you know, not that they charge that much. I'm sure that they're well worth the money. I just, for example, pay my stylist $25 US for every haircut, and she's considered, you know, pretty high end here where I live. I get my haircut pretty much twice a month. I wouldn't be able to afford to do that if I was going to the Slick Hair shop, you know, twice a month. I wouldn't be able to afford it. Let's move on to, let's see, the next question here. This one here was actually sent through the Modern Man TV Facebook page, which is linked in every single video, by the way. You guys should go and follow that. And this was sent by Ivan on the Facebook page. Let's go ahead and check out his question.
Hey Mike, I'm Ivan.
Did y'all see that entrance? He just like walked up, yo, I'm Ivan. Answer my question. I love that. Confidence. That's what I'm talking about.
My question for you is, while I blow dry my hair, I find it difficult to build up some shape, volume and hold. As you can see here, my hair is really thick, okay, and it has a lot of waves. I have styled my hair here with ByVilain Sidekick Zero Spray Hairspray as a pre-styler and the Dynamite Clay as a post-styler. It is really thick, it has a lot of waves. If you could give me some tips on blow drying, it would be really helpful. Thanks.
Okay, so let me see if I can help you out. You got much thicker hair than me, so it's gonna be difficult either way. You guys with super thick hair, you guys have a big challenge. I definitely respect the challenge and recognize it as such. The first thing that I would try to recommend is to soften your hair as much as possible. When my hair gets super thick, when I soften it up, it becomes more manageable. So what I like to do is soften it from the get-go with shampoos, different shampoos and conditioners. That's why I try to use shampoos and conditioners like the ByVilain Rush Set, for example. And then afterwards, before you blow dry, I like to add in something like a tonic or a spray along with my pre-styler. In this case, you could add it in along with your Sidekick spray. One thing that I know for sure that works really well, that is also sold at the Slick Hair shop, is the 25 spray. That's the Salon Guy 25 spray. Now, I've talked about this a lot on the channel. That stuff is magic. It seriously is. You can just spray in a couple. You don't need much. Just, you know, give yourself a round of 25 spray around the hair. Then you can also add in your Sidekick if you want that hold, that foundation. You know, it looks to me like you probably just want a little more manageability, and I think you're gonna get that if you just soften it up, make it a little more pliable. I'd be interested to see if that would help you. I think that might help, but let's move on here. Let's move back over. This one is an email question. It says, hello, ByVilain is one of the more expensive products on the market in regards to actual amount of product received. I was wondering if the product was actually worth it or overhyped due to the people who own the company having a large YouTube following. Yes, I can sort of see where you're coming from the beginning. I think for some reason there is a little bit of stigma associated with brands that have been started by YouTubers. I think some of that stigma is starting to finally go away as people start to realize that we actually make great products because we see a lot of products. We know what's good and what's not. And so when we actually do stuff like this, it is worth looking into. So if I were to cut your question in half and go with the hype portion, I don't think that this brand is at all overhyped. Do I think that some people purposely overhype things? Absolutely, but you have to kind of look at where it's coming from. You know, what channel are you watching? Is that someone who constantly pushes out ads and says everything is the best every single video? Or is this someone who takes their time and goes through and actually gives you an honest review from a good, honest place? You know, I don't want to name any names, but, you know, hopefully it rhymes with Schmike. When it comes to expensive products, yes, I can see kind of where you're coming from with the fact that Gold Digger, for example, is $22 for 2.2 ounces. I don't think, though, that that's such a huge deal when you compare it to other brands, especially Hans de Foucault, who Claymation, for example, now is $23 for 2 ounces. But let's go ahead and move on now. I think we got one more question before we close this thing out. Let's check out this one. This is from probably the best looking set of twins that I've ever seen. I mean, seriously, are these guys photoshopped? Take a look at this.
What's up, Mike? Which ByVilain product is better for upcoming spring season? And which of ByVilain product do you use more frequently and why? Thank you.
Seriously, you guys look like you were chiseled out of stone. Good question, very valid question. I think lately I've been using the most, let's tackle that one first. The product that I've been using the most is Gold Digger. Probably second, the runner-up to that one, second most often would be Silver Fox. Those are the two that I use the most. Those are the ones that I enjoy the most out of the lineup. They just work so well for my hair. They give me any type of look that I want. If I want, you know, a high part like this, it'll do that. If my hair's shorter and I want a quiff, the Gold Digger does that. They can really do it all. And again, I think either one of those would be great for the upcoming spring and summer season. But anyway, that is all the questions we have time for today. I really hope you guys enjoyed the questions and got some help out of the answers. Maybe some of the questions were some things that you guys at home were wondering about yourself. So I'm hoping that we were able to help some people out today. I do want to say thank you to everyone who sent in questions for this video. Again, I hope my answers were helpful. And as always, if you're interested in checking out the ByVilain lineup, the Slick Hair Shop and their worldwide shipping is in the description of every video. And of course, if you use code MMTV, you will save some money on your order. And again, that's good site-wide. Everything sold on the Slick Hair Shop is covered by that code, so make sure you don't miss out on those savings. If you enjoyed today's episode, make sure you smash that like button for me. And if you haven't yet subscribed, what are you waiting for? Just hit that subscribe button for me. Do it right down there. Just hit the button. We're getting closer and closer every day to the 25,000 goal, so hit that button. Join us here on the channel. We have a lot of fun with the videos we're putting out. I got a lot of cool stuff coming your way very soon as well. That is it for today, though. I want to thank you so much for stopping by the channel today and checking out this video. I will, of course, be back with you guys again very soon. And until then, you take it easy, stay safe, and I'll see you guys next time.